All right, everyone, welcome back to the Land of Chem. I'm your host and the author. My name is Jeffrey Drum. Thank you all so much for joining me again. All right, everyone, welcome back. Now, today I will take you along with me on a private special permission expedition to the pyramids of Abu Sir during the November 2024 Land of Chem Ancient Alchemy and Ascension Tour, where I rediscovered the remains of a lost artifact that I've been searching for since 2017. If this is the type of content you're interested in regarding the ancient technology of a lost civilization, utilizing physics and chemistry, and the function of the Egyptian pyramids and other ancient structures from across the world, this is the channel for you. So please subscribe to the Land of Chem here on YouTube, and don't forget to click that little notification bell so that you do not miss the new episodes that premiere twice per week. Please like, comment, share, and stay tuned. If you want to help support this channel and get access to exclusive research and unreleased footage that you will not see anywhere else, check out the Land of Chem members only channel and thelandofchem.com if you want to pick up a copy of the book or grab some merch, both linked in the video description below. If you want to follow me on Instagram or on X, my handle is @thelandofchem. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, thank you all so much for the support. I think that is it for today's intro, so without further ado, let's get right to it. All right, everyone, here we go with tonight's episode. And to begin, here is a diagram of the black basalt eastern temple of the Pyramid of Osireion, showing the red quartzite conduit and collection bowls that have been extensively discussed here on the channel, specifically presented in Sunday Site Visit 31 and Sunday Site Visit 52, and the explanation of the function of this black basalt paving and red quartzite conduit and collection bowl system was explained in a spectacular two-part series, Episode 88, Functional Pyramid Stone Part 1, and Episode 121, Functional Pyramid Stone Part 2. And if you're new to the channel, or if you just want to get caught up, I highly recommend checking out these critical videos, and I will put links to all of these in the video description below. Now, today, I took my tour group with me to search for the second conduit and collection bowl components that were documented by Ludwig Borchardt during the original excavations of the site, as you can see here. So this long one, running below the black basalt paving, is the one that is still visible and in situ today. And this one appears to have been lost to the sands of time and completely disappeared from the site. So here's a picture of the collection basin that is still in place at the site on the left. And while we were exploring the area where the second basin is said to have been located, I discovered a fragment of red quartzite that you can see here on the right that is covered in what appears to be green copper oxide. This is a major discovery as it directly corresponds to the green copper oxide that was discovered in the crags of the alabaster basins at the neighboring structure, the Solar Temple at Abu Gharaib, a site that has also been presented and discussed here on the channel. Check out episode 57 for a private tour, episode 87 with research on the calcite crystal altar, and episode 113 with some fascinating details on the obelisk and these calcite crystal bowls. Now, this green copper oxide material is an indication that these bowls, both the alabaster bowls at Abu Gharaib and the red quartzite bowls at the Pyramid of Osireion, may have originally been lined with copper metal. So now, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I hope you enjoy Sunday Site Visit 88 so you can see this discovery in real time. And I may throw in some footage of a rare rainstorm at the Pyramid of Sahura and our private access into the Great Pyramid of Giza at night. Let's go.
I see.
Let's go.
Mo hates it.
He loves it. You look so excited.
Come on, Mo.
How many times has he been here?
Let's go, come on.
He's a fridge. yeah. We're on our way to investigate the temple of Patashepsis.
So this is the temple and mastaba of Patashepsis. And we'll walk around in through this little area here, and I want to show you a very unusual piece of stone. So this is also a very unusual structure and feature of this site. So we're standing on ground level. You can see here that there's a shaft leading to the subterranean level, and there would have also been another level above us. So there was a 3-level structure that was here originally.
In your opinion, this was ancient Egypt.
Oh yeah.
This area here.
Take a look at this. Look at that. Which is one of my favorite unusual artifacts from this site.
Okay.
So you can see down here, this is the subterranean portion of this structure. That descending shaft that leads down from over here actually terminates down here into this subterranean portion. Please stay away from the edge. But just so you can see it. Okay, so first, look at this black piece right here. That's black basalt. But then I would call your attention, everybody come around this way and take a look at this thing. I would just, yeah, you can pull it out of the way. Watch out for nails. And take a look at this piece. And you can see on the sides here the finishing of this piece of stone. So this is actually blue sandstone. This is not black basalt. It's a different type of geology, different type of chemical composition. They've taken samples of this. Anyone can't do it.
I have some.
No. The team has taken an analysis of this. You can also see some of the saw blade marks
Can we put water on it?
where this thing was still being finished. Yeah, you can rinse it off. That's fine.
Where at?
Again, you can see the quality of this stone.
Looking for tooling.
So again, you can see it here, here. You can see them here. There's tool marks. So this part was being finished, and there was probably a lip here that came off that was cracked. So this is, again, blue sandstone, not black basalt. This is a bit of an out-of-place artifact because it does not necessarily fit with the materials or the construction capabilities that we see with the rest of the structure over here. It's very, very unusual. The only other place that we found blue sandstone is inside of the pyramid of Userkov in Saqqara, where the container is now completely blown into tiny little fragments. It's completely destroyed, tiny little piece of this thing all over the inner chamber, and it's the same type of material.
These
Again,
marks
you
on
can-
the side here have a bunch of little.
There's like striations.
Striations.
Oh yeah,
Look at
yeah,
how
yeah.
it's
We'll see a whole bunch of tool marks when we get to the pyramid of
has some
Osireion.
arc
But I
to
just wanted to show you this artifact because it is a little bit unusual. We don't know where this was intended to go or what it was a part of originally, but I think you would agree that this is not necessarily the same as this. Right? And it's definitely not the same as that piece of black. So there's something very unusual and special about this piece of stone. How did it end up here? What was it originally a
It's
part of?
tapered too.
Correct, yeah. So it's one of those unusual artifacts that we don't have a fantastic explanation for because, again, is this in its original place? Probably not. Where did they find it and why did they move it over here? Very good question, because that's a heavy piece of stone. So you're also sitting on what is called a hotep, or an altar. So if this was the original place, it certainly would have been a sacred ceremonial component of this temple structure with the hotep and altar right there. All right, so now it looks like they opened the door. Yes. Yes.
Però doveva essere una sega bella grande, guarda l'arco della circonferenza, prova a pensarlo in totale, viene fuori grande un 4-5 metri, vedi che è leggermente curvato, altro che scalpellini. Anche qua, vedi? Guarda, anche qua, vedi chiaramente questi.
Quindi di una macchina.
Coming. Yes, all right.
So obviously the view on top is restoration. A lot of the facade of the building here, this is all restoration. This is not original.
Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah.
This is original. The columns are original. But all of the smaller blocks you can see are restoration of the facade or exterior of the temple.
What's the point of the?
So those are either papyrus,
Papyrus.
or lotus.
Right.
They have two different symbolic adornments on the top of these things.
We're going to do two more.
Thank you so much. Okay, so again, this is the temple or mastaba of Ptah Shepsis, and I'll show you some very interesting and unusual features of this temple. This is my first time. I've been in here 3 times on 3 different tours. This is my first time coming through the main entrance.
And notice here they have hieroglyphics.
Paintings.
Paintings.
Oh, there's some new flag, there's some other flag. Or maybe it's painted in. That's a relief or something, too.
So, if you would, I wouldn't touch anything in here, but you can certainly look to appreciate. Hey, do you have the flashlight?
Yeah, I should have it.
And I found one thing that we were looking for already.
Is this another hotep here?
So these are what I would say are extended naos. So naos or naos is a term of basically a container for a statue housing. So we'll see some of these in the Egyptian Museum. You can see down here at the bottom that there are hinges. So there would have been a door that closed over this, and there was most likely a statue or an offering of some sort that was housed in these little areas, because you can see the door hinges here.
Now, your estimation is that the paintings are from dynastic.
Correct. Yes, yes. And as we walk outside, we're going to move to the more ancient megalithic part of the structure. So look right here.
Yes.
Yeah, just get some footage of that and see if you can find the other one.
Of inscriptions or pictures.
We've been looking for these basins
Yeah, so even here,
that were
for example.
reported by board chart.
So let me point out a couple of things about, and I think over there to the left there may actually be, there should be another one around here somewhere. So this is something that we were looking for here, which is this channel and the circular depression right here. So we're very, very intent on looking for all of these channels, which there was either a pipe or a piece of metal or some sort of fluid was running through this thing. And there was most likely a copper basin or some sort of reservoir here that was originally housed in this piece.
And there's supposed to be a central basin.
Hey. So again, ritualistic uses of different chemicals. I wouldn't say water. I would say that it was definitely a chemical solution of some sort. Even if it was just an herbal tincture or a distilled, mixture of different herbs and flowers or whatever, not necessarily for drinking, you just for the smell, possibly for consumption. But again, this is emblematic, anointing, right, exactly. But this would have been a channel or a pipe that was in here that flowed into a little metal basin that was housed in this area. So it's a small but important component of the ritual that was being performed at this site. So now we'll take a look at these limestone pillars. And so we were talking about the sand at these sites. And that all of this was buried in sand when they found it, up to the height of the columns. And that is why you see the erosion at the top of the pillars, because everything below was buried in sand, everything above was exposed to the elements for thousands and thousands of years. That has led to the deterioration and erosion of the top of the pillars.
Could it have been a flood?
There's a number of different hypotheses for the erosion that occurred at this structure. And there was also, according to the original archaeological reports, a basin here in the center of the structure. So they had two basins here for whatever sort of ritual was being performed at this site. I think it's probably older, and then what we saw on the inside is more of the conventional dynastic part.
Now, this description of these pictures here.
Here's a basin here.
So I actually think these are contemporaneous to the pillars themselves. I do think that they're original. But now, it does. Now, so is there an esoteric interpretation of some of this? So I think a lot of this stuff is inherited. And they use some of the same stylistic appearance of these things for later hieroglyphics. Yeah, that's the eight, correct.
These are magazines.
Watch out. You good? All right.
Oh, look at this.
interact with the mercury in a way that it breaks down the metallic bonds, where the gold is still in there, and it can spill out the mercury, and it can leave pure gold. That's how you use mercury for ore processing. Okay. So now let me take you over to this piece here.
Quartzite?
Okay, huge pieces of red granite.
Interesting.
Foundation columns. Color. So we were just talking about how that collection bowl may have originally had a copper inlay, like a metal bowl on the inside of it. So this is a piece of quartzite, and you can see the green material here, here, and here.
That's a beautiful specimen.
Which again, I can't 100% confirm that that's what it is, but just from general appearance, that does look like a copper oxide. So this is a very unique fragment here. And this is the general area where that second conduit and collection bowl would be. Somewhere in here, because this is the temple, that's the pyramid of Osireion, this is the correct corner, and there's fragments of stone all in this area. So this is a very important piece.
Search continues.
Leave that right there. So I wouldn't do that either. So pick them up. Yeah, guard check. Yeah. So I remember my first trip to Egypt. We were out here. I saw one of these guys come up. We were bringing a cigarette. We got there making fire.
It's interesting.
Cigarettes, hanging out. They live here.
I wonder if this was a piece of it.
Totally separate, isolated. I know we're not on the Giza plateau.
Technically, it's the same bedrock formation, but the plateau itself is actually it would have been a small mountain that they leveled off to create the Giza plateau. So it's technically a different formation. Yeah. Okay, so if you come from over here, it's just a good way to see everything that we're about to investigate. Looking down in the floor here, you can see the interlocking polygonal masonry in the floor in this section right here. This temple structure was originally 2 stories, and we'll see stairs inside of this that would have led to the 2nd level of the temple. Running through this entire temple was a network of copper pipes that we'll see in just a minute. And here are also remnants of a variety of different components. Like, look at this piece of red granite in the center that has that hole in the unusual housing. Those are all over this structure. So we're going to walk down this way, and I'll point out a whole bunch of stuff as we walk through this complex. We'll also walk around to the north side so I can show you the opening. Then from here, look down into the temple, and you see those hieroglyphs that have the green color? Yeah. Those had copper in them. And those hieroglyphs are immaculately precise. They are the same quality as the construction of the stone itself, which we've talked about some of these comparisons and differences between the quality of the hieroglyphs and the quality of the artifact. These two are the same thing. So let's go. very similar to the symbol Nabu, which is the symbol for gold. Gold has several little rays coming out of it, but this is the first time that I've noticed that it has that hieroglyph that's very reminiscent to the hieroglyph for gold. So here you also see the integration of black basalt and red granite in the structure. And here's your first look at some good tube drill holes. This is the site where everybody comes and talks about the tube drills that show the striations. Here's another one with this tube drill hole here. I think they are original, and they appear to be the same quality as the stone.
Interesting piece of conduit where two lines converge.
H blocks are at Pumapunku. Yes.
This may have been a basin.
That is very similar to what we'll see on the Giza plateau. None of these pieces are square. They're all made by Lego pieces. They had a grid, and they drew out exactly how everything was going to fit on this grid before anything was ever happening. And they cut the stones to be a rough shape of what they were going to be at the site. Then you bring them here, you start putting them in place, and you finish the edge right when you get there to make sure that the edges fit together perfectly. Each one was put in place, one after another, according to the drawing on your grid. Why did they do that? I don't have a good answer. It is everything is falling down. You can see this whole thing. That's why I wouldn't get too close to any of that.
That's all, is that all collapsed?
Because all that stuff is on the verge of falling down.
Right.
So it wasn't an enclave, it was...
So again, you have to imagine all this stone has been quarried out of here. People have come, this was a whole solid pyramid structure.
Yeah.
And people have come in and removed stones and taken all that stuff out of here to where it compromised the foundation of the pyramid so much that the whole thing is eventually going to fall down. One day, it will collapse. And that's why they don't want people going down inside here, because they don't want to be responsible for, you know, it happened to be on that day when there's a bunch of U.S. tourists on here that go down in there and everybody gets crushed to the collapse. Yes, they have diagrams and there are pictures.
I can see a
From
huge
the
lintel board.
original reports from Warchar. So we do have pictures and we do have diagrams of the internal system. And I can show those to you when we get on the bus. Oh yeah. And I'll send you, I have a great episode showing all of this stuff and all the pictures of the conduits and the pipes, all that stuff from the original excavation. That was awesome.
It's a really cool to be
Very
around.
rare experience, maybe once or twice a year that we get any sort of rain in Egypt, let alone we got to experience it out during a private special permission visit to the pyramid of Sahura at Abu Sir. Really awesome.
Great work, baby.
The Land of Chem 2025 Ancient Alchemy and Ascension Tour is on, and bookings are now available with almost a year to plan ahead. This is my most extensive and immersive tour thus far, covering the entire country of Egypt and all of the ancient sites, including Saqqara and the Serapeum, the pyramids of Dashur, the newly opened Grand Egyptian Museum, private special permission access to Abu Sir, the pyramids of the Giza Plateau, and a private entry into all three chambers of the Great Pyramid of Giza at night. Then we fly to Upper Egypt to explore Luxor Temple, Karnak Temple, Dendara, the Temple of Seti I, and the Osireion, followed by a Nile cruise to investigate the Hatshepsut Temple, Kamombo and Aswan, Abu Simbel, and finally Elephantine Island, possibly one of the final resting places of the Ark of the Covenant. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to experience the best of what Egypt has to offer. So if you are interested in joining, please send me an email with the subject line 2025 Egypt Tour to contact@thelandofchem.com, and I will send you the full tour itinerary and pricing details. Thank you all so much, and I will see you soon in Egypt. Watch your step.
We are at the base of the Great Pyramid on the 6th of November 2024 Land of Chem Ancient Alchemy and Ascension Tour. Private access.
This is the original opening area. I'll show it to you in the morning. So that's normal. The dogs are always on the got everybody? Come on, please stay together.
We're here. I'm right here.
Everybody come on up. Paul, let's go.
He likes you.
Yeah, I like Pyramid dog. Pyramid puppy.
You
That was
climb the
beautiful.
pyramid? You climb the pyramid?
Did you go to the top?
You got
Is this the
top.
famous boy?
You got the top. You coming with us inside? Really?
He goes inside too. It's the guardian.
He is. Goodbye, Nubius.
See this down here? So this feature here, we just came in from the northern descending shaft. This here is what is called the southern shaft. And it is a long, dead end passageway. I have been down there before, and I can assure you it is a dead end. You go into the bedrock, it literally ends, and then there's not enough room for us to turn around in there. So we have to just scoot back slowly. If you want to go in, we can go in. If not, again, all it is a dead end. There's nothing down there.
Except fissures.
There is a small crack, Paul. Yes, there is a fissure down in there. Possibly a subterranean water source. So again, the Nile River is now miles away. But it does appear that there may be a subterranean water source below the structure that's still bringing water, at least in relative proximity to this shaft.
If you get down far enough, you're always going to hit groundwater.
Do what?
If you get down far enough, you're always going to hit groundwater. So in other words, the shaft actually goes through.
Oh, yeah.
To however far down we go, you know.
Yeah, we don't know the total depth of the shaft. Okay. So conventional explanation of the subterranean chamber is that this is an unfinished chamber. And that what they were doing here was further expanding the chamber. So this is the finished part, this is the unfinished part, and they were gradually just cutting up these blocks, because this is all bedrock. This is all solid bedrock. So they were in here carving out these stones, and they were going to cut this up, haul it out of here, and expand this chamber. John Cadman, the engineer, civil engineer that proposed the ram pump hypothesis, with the water squirting out the subterranean southern chamber. He said it was a pump mechanism, a ram pump to push water. He said that the Great Pyramid was possibly a water pump. But the big deficiency with his hypothesis is that he suggested that the southern shaft is the actual pump outlet. But I can assure you that is a dead end. If you want to go down there and confirm for yourself, we can go down in the hole.
In other words, you hit bedrock.
You hit bedrock. There's no, they say that it's sealed up or it was concrete. I can 100% assure you, because we went down there last time to specifically document the termination of that shaft in the bedrock. It's 100% just a dead end.
Bring your knee pads.
Correct. But it's it's wide enough to go down there. We can go if you guys want. All right, you good? Thomas is in there? Yeah.
You good? Okay, good.
Okay, so that's the conventional explanation. However, John Cadman did some pretty interesting and detailed measurements and replication of this system, and he believes it was designed to produce compression and fluid dynamic movements here in the subterranean chamber, which I actually agree with that hypothesis, as I believe both the southern shaft and this system here, you can see that there's some carved out pieces on the ceiling here. He thinks all of these are very intentional. These pieces here.
It seems that someone did something.
Yeah, you can see the tool marks, right? So all of these arches here, yes, I would agree that this does look like it was pretty intentional here. But you can see that this has been carved out. All of these these series of tool marks, these patterns here, all the tools that were used to carve out this chamber.
And that's that thing,
Yeah, that little protrusion. He would say that that is also a focal point of fluid dynamics down here in this chamber. So long story short, I agree with the idea that this is possibly for pumping water, but not out of the southern chamber, but up through the well shaft. And we'll get to why that's the case in the next one.
I was looking to see what's so be careful, there's the steps here. Okay.
So we'll talk about a bunch of stuff in here. How do we move it out? Great. Good job.
Thanks, Bishu.
These ones. So we'll talk about a bunch of stuff in here once everybody gets in. They do not go to the outside. The ones in the king's chamber do go all the way to the outside of the pyramid. So originally, these shafts were covered with stone. And these were discovered by Wayman Dixon in the early 1900s. And they saw these little cracks, and they broke through here to discover these shafts.
They sent some camera robot.
This is the Jetty robot project, where they did send a robot up this thing. It was actually up this one. It does not go all the way to the outside of the pyramid. It goes about halfway and stops. Yeah, so there's definitely been something removed out of here, for sure. Yeah. All right. So one thing we'll talk about. Okay. One question at a time. Because a lot of different questions. Let me explain a few things. So let's start with the air shafts. Okay, these again do not go all the way to the outside of the pyramid. They stop about halfway in the core of the pyramid itself. Where they excavated all this material out and carved this tunnel back into the bedrock. Same thing as this part right here. This was done in the early 1900s. They excavated down into this area in search of treasure and mummies. It has been reported that there are possibly shafts and chambers that were discovered underneath the Queen's chamber. A recent 3D Doppler tomography radar scan. So they scanned the Great Pyramid using a 3D Doppler radar. And they discovered, the bonding scan, So, again, this was not the same as the Muon scan that was commissioned by the Ministry of Antiquities. This was done with basically without their permission. They used satellites to scan the Great Pyramid. And they found the evidence of what looks to be a shaft coming out of here, which, according to my hypothesis, there definitely should be. So that's what's under here. Remember that this patch here is a modern patch covering a huge hole here that was excavated down into this area, and they also excavated here. But this housing itself, they call this the niche. This is an original part of the chamber.
So, have they done some chemical analysis of the sides?
So, let's talk about the coating and the chemical analysis. You can see here the remnants of the plaster and the coating that was in here. So this chamber was also coated with calcium sulphate salt. So we've talked about the role of the calcium sulphate salt and the coating compounds that were in here. You also see this when we go to the final pyramid, the pyramid of Menkaure, also has what is called gypsum, which is a calcium sulphate coating. So that's what we have in terms of chemical analysis data. They did find salt in this chamber, shown to be calcium sulphate, and they've also reported that this is calcium sulphate gypsum coated, like a plaster. So you'll also notice that there's a bunch of weird stuff in here, like these holes.
Yeah.
And I'm glad they moved all the stuff out of here because I wanted to look at this corner.
Yeah.
So I would say, see this box here? You know, some of these stones have been moved. And you'll see that in the king's chamber, where there's, to the right of the sarcophagus, there's something similar to this. It's actually a piece of metal that's kind of painted to look like granite that covers up a hole in the king's chamber where they moved some of those blocks. It was covered in stone. Yeah, it was a layer. You can see the thickness here of the stone wall. You can see the thickness of the stone wall is about this much. So this was one block. This was covered, correct?
One block. So they were just done the shop.
Yes.
One block.
Yes, so this was originally one piece right here, and this is broken into, they broke through about that much stone to get into this shaft. When the chamber itself was being built, so they weren't moving the box in, the box was put in during the construction, and it was never intended to go in or out. It was part of the original construction.
Because clearly these walls and the ceiling are not carved out.
No, these are blocks. Yeah, we are now above the bedrock. So this is actually limestone masonry in the body of the structure itself. Subterranean chamber is bedrock. Now we've come above the bedrock layer into the core masonry of the structure itself.
So you want to stay
Sleeping bag? Okay.
Just want to know the chemicals in the car.
Good. Okay.
Tiene muy buena vida, ha ganado mucha plata, ahora. Nosotros no hay semana, que hay otro que se llama vivimos en el convenio familiar, hay casos por justicia y otros.
لا قريب المدير بتاعهم ده اه والله
Oh, they got some awesome replicas in here.
You're going to be.
Look, a
you're gonna have
Ramses
this for your living room.
and Horus. Some pyramid energy.
Right. Exactly. For your living room.
We got the direct coffer here. We saw these
Yep.
pieces today.
Yes, we did. Oh, he's not carrying the anchor. Oh, here's Set. I don't think you want him in your living room.
No, that's bad vibes.
Bad vibes. A lot of baskets though, like cats.
Oh, Jeffrey has a birthday coming up.
Does he?
Yeah.
You're gonna get him a cat?
Yeah, he would love that.
That size? I don't know about
Maybe fiberglass?
He's behind us.
السلة في يوم تغرى وانا طول الدنيا مشاكل سنين ما خلت مليون عين وانا طوبي ابيض خالي من
No, I mean, once you know what you're doing, you just come and walk, everybody wants to go all local. You just come and hang out, you smoke shisha, you drink coffee, you walk around, enjoy nightlife.
Oh, dervish? Oh, yeah. I've never seen them.
Sufi, not
Sufi.
dervish.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Hey, out of the way, out of the way, out of the way, out of the way. Alright everyone, that is it for today's video. This was Sunday Site Visit 88 from the Pyramids of Abu Sir. I really hope you enjoyed today's video, and in the next episode in the series, some fascinating new research regarding the chemical corrosion-resistant coating compound that was discovered at the Red Pyramid of Dashur. This is an episode you do not want to miss, so if you haven't already, please subscribe to the Land of Chem here on YouTube, click that little notification bell, like, comment, and stay tuned. If you want to help support the channel, check out the Land of Chem members only channel and thelandofchem.com. If you want to pick up a copy of the book or grab some merch, both linked in the video description below. If you want to follow me on Instagram or on X, my handle is @thelandofchem. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, thank you all so much for the support. I think that is it for today's episode, so I will see you next time. Yo, are you still watching this? Please subscribe to the Land of Chem here on YouTube and click that little notification button. New videos coming out every single week. And check out this other episode. Come on, do it. Do it now.